Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine Live. I'm Catherine, and it's time for the October 2024 Creative Memories virtual crop. Finally, yay! I have all four sketches done, and so I am ready to show you my interpretations. I think it's going to be a fun one. I did add in our Christmas charm collection. I don't know. I keep wanting to say cheer, and that was last year's collection. So Christmas charm that I introduced on my channel yesterday. And then, of course, you all voted on my community tab to let me know which other collection was going to be your most favorite. And so let's get to it. Let me find the right button. Okay, here we go. There we go. Alrighty. And I know it took me a little bit to get to this, but it's been interesting this month already. Okay, so we have the Christmas Charm collection is going to be first. Here is the sketch. I always hold it up for you all in case you want to grab a quick screenshot of what I've done, because I am not good about following the sketches. I'm inspired by them though. And now that I'm doing the slightly different format of live streaming all four at once, y'all get to kind of see a little bit of where we're going. But this one kind of is a little bit of a jumble. So on the side here, as you can see, I have a bunch of punches that I did use, and I've already punched them because that was something else on my community tab. Nobody answered me which tool or technique they wanted to see, so I just went ahead and pre-punched what I'm going to be using. I did use the Poinsettia Edge Border Maker cartridge, as well as our standalone Holly punch, and I also used our handheld, if I can say it right here, one hole punch, and our leafy vine decorative border punch as well. So a mix of punches. I am going to be adding a couple of papers to your cardstock selections, or coordinating cardstock selections as we go along here. Nutting my silicone mat because this one is going to be a little bit of a challenge to do here. And let me move out my right side. Ooh, hopefully it doesn't slide too much so I remember what I need to do here. Okay, I have not stuck anything down yet. And I did make myself a couple of notes of what I need to put down first, I think. Now, we are starting with white cardstock. I know y'all can gasp audibly if you want. It's a rare thing for me to actually pull out actual Creative Memories white cardstock and not use an index sheet. So mark this one down. It is unusual for me to do that. On the index sheet for this collection, they did suggest white shimmer cardstock, and I looked at it and I went, no. We are using regular white cardstock. I know. And if you'll remember my introduction, I loved this flourish leafy vine almost looking paper that had the argyle on the back of it. So we are using this one, as well as both the green and red Christmas plaids that do have designs on the back, but the plaids are what worked with this. I also did pull in a little bit of gold cardstock, gold shimmer, I should say. I think that one also gets added to your cardstock list for this collection, as well as some dark green cardstock. That was on the list, but parakeet shimmer was not. So your parakeet shimmer, you can see I punched those with that climbing vine. Leafy vine, daggum. Okay, so names are going to be a challenge today. I don't know. It's okay. I feel like I'm getting back into the swing of it a little bit anyways. And this piece you probably are going to want to know is, wait a minute, did I write it down? Yes, 4 inches. So I did do the offset. Okay, no, this is the one that's the, okay. All right. So this one I took from a 1-page sketch to a 2-page layout. And so with this, I actually did do an offset center, I guess, if you will, with this one. I thought it was called Flourish, but I could be wrong. So this left side, it's 4 inches, and the right side is going to be 3.5 for that. My mat sizes, I do believe, are the same, but we are going to go ahead and start by putting this one along the right side of our white cardstock here. And whoops. Okay. Boy, I think I filmed a video the other day. I actually managed to film something for you all. I know I just have to get it edited. But it was actually taking something that was originally on white cardstock and I changed it up to a darker background because I liked it better. So it really is unusual for me to seek out the white cardstock. This is the one that took me a long time to figure out the other day anyways, because it took me just a while to just get the colors to flow and the design to work for me. All right, so my gold shimmer, let's see, was an inch, and I need to make sure that this is going to be up high enough so that way it's not overlapping our plaid here. This is 6 1/4 by 10.5 inches. And this is going to go right around here. It is also going to go along the edge of our paper as well. There we go. And then, so both sides are going to be the same for that, 6 1/4 by 10.5. And then our green plaid is 5 3/4 by 3 3/4, which I know is a little bit more of an unusual size for me, but once I cut the 6 1/4 from this paper, then we had the 5 3/4 left. So I just went with it. Sometimes there is a method to some of the, I don't want to say madness completely, but to some of what I do. Creative genius? Maybe. I don't know. Creativity. How's about that? I do like to give you all ideas of different things you can do. So let's go ahead and put our gold cardstock on the bottom. Now with the gold cardstock or gold shimmer, I did cut this at an inch with our colonial blade. So you can see it definitely does have that little bit of a design look to it. And we are going to layer it with a border sticker from our sticker pack. So that's down here. And I don't think this was part of the sketch. It was just, again, something that when I was designing, it just worked. So that's what I did. And I did cut the sticker in half as well. At, let's see, did I cut this at 6 inches or did I scoot it over a little bit? Let me measure for you all because I don't remember. Nope, I did move it over a little bit. This is actually at 6.5 inches on this side because I went with 4 inches with that. So everything kind of flows a little bit more to the left side on these pages. Now, we had this really large Merry Christmas in our embellishment pack. And, okay, on our sketch, we had this circle. And I thought, yeah, we could do a circle, but we have this perfect Merry Christmas. And why not use it? So I'm going to put this up on a little bit of foam tape. And then we're going to weave our vines, leafy vines, around our Merry Christmas, kind of in an arc. And you'll see, just bear with me here. Like I said, there's a method to some of it. And I'm going to use the foam tape. Here we go. For this part, we're going to use repositionable tape on the other our vines. And then I also did pull a couple of holly with the berries from our sticker pack as well. It just helped to finish off some of the design. Okay. So this is going up in this upper corner here at an angle. So we are going to put the parakeet shimmer on the bottom of our layered vines using the repositionable tape. And I'm just kind of going to start in the middle and then I'm going to bring it down and around. The beauty of using repositionable tape is you can maneuver and manipulate things and fold them and you don't have to worry about it at all. Here we go, because we have that foam tape underneath there. My embellishment is up and you do have, there's a little bit of a crease, but no big deal. Let's go ahead and get our other parakeet shimmer in and under here as well. And again, going under and around. I kind of want to meet up these two ends and then I'll weave this back through. So you can see it's working with me as I am working it around and it's creasing where it needs to crease. Whoops, I need to lift that up a little. And then this is going to bend a little bit more coming around this corner here, going up into the other one. So just kind of fold down where it's creasing and voila, you have a kind of an oval that we're creating around our Merry Christmas. That's giving us our circular shape that was inspired by the sketch. So it's like when you get a sketch, you don't have to do it exactly as it's printed, right? They're open for interpretation and whatever creative things you want to do with yours, you can definitely work out. So let's see here. Do I have this going a different way? I think I do. Let me see if I can get my leaves going the same direction on this one. Yep, there we go. That just looks a little bit nicer if you can actually layer your leaves. There we go. You see how nice that looks? I'll show it closer to you coming up. Whoop, got to get this one under here. Turn around the curve here and over. Oops. Come on. I'm catching the foam tape a little bit, I think, but that's okay. So not quite exact through our edge, but you know what? We have our holly that's going to be on the corners anyway, so I'm okay with that. But at least we have that nice little shadow effect for part of it. And then I'm going to see if this is going to work out better for me with this one here. Yep. There we go. Get this one to kind of have that same shadow effect a little bit here. And you know, you probably could wait and put your Merry Christmas on after, but I just thought, you know, it almost felt easier to do it this way. And now, of course, I'm fighting it a little bit, but that's all right. It's paper. There we go. It's okay if you crease it, fold it, tear it if you need to. All right. How's about that? Not too shabby, huh? And then we'll add our holly with the berries at the end here to cover up. So you can see we do have, whoops, let me just put that in the trash. There we go. You can see we do have kind of a fold right through here where right above, I don't even know if you can see that on the camera or not. And then there is also a little bit of overlapping and maybe a little at the end of the, where I punched up in here. And we're just going to cover those areas up and add this extra little element. Maybe if I can get it in here. Because we want to see the red a little bit. Maybe I should just overlap it this way and create kind of a cluster-ish effect here. Yep, it's going on top of our embellishment. There we go. It's still gonna affect what your eye sees. Okay, hang on. Pardon me. I'm allergic a little bit to Pennsylvania. I know I sneezed on the one yesterday too. What can I say? I am taking allergy medicine. It's just, not perfect, but hopefully at least I turn my head away from the mic, right? All right, so there's that. I'll hold that up again in a moment too. And then I also did, okay, so let's see if I can even show you. I punched out from our cranberry cardstock the little single dots from our single hole punch. Whoops. And that's just going to go right in the center of our dark green cardstock that I punched with the hollyberry. And then I also used the gold shimmer behind as well. And I'll talk to you a little more about why I picked the gold shimmer. When we get to the right side of the page, you'll see, because that's part of what inspired all of this a bit here. So these are going to layer, again, creating just that little bit of an extra shadow effect layer here. I'm just putting those two right on top of each other, and then I'm going to stick this up here. It's going to go behind my mat a little bit at the edge of my page to add an extra little design element there. So there's that. And there are those stickers up top on my embellishment. Originally, I thought it was going to be under, but it's on top. Okay. Yes, I will show you the sketch again in just a little bit once I get the other page done, which is coming again now. Oh, I think this one was the most intricate of all the interpretations I did. That's why I wound up using 4 punches. It just kind of wound up being what it wound up being. So again, this is the other half of the pieces from the right side. We have our plaid, and you can see where it looks a little different than the other side. I'm actually going to have to bring in my other page to line up, but I'm going to start here. This is the poinsettia edge, and yes, okay, here is the white shimmer with our poinsettia edge, and this is firecracker shimmer. So you have another one you can add to your Goes With Christmas Charm. Got the name of the collection right. And this is actually what inspired a lot of the color choices and design for my sketch interpretation. I loved those beautiful trees when I introduced the collection, and the sketch just spoke to me. Like I said, instead of doing circles, which, you definitely can do circles, but I just really wanted to do something a little different. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, okay, let's do I originally actually thought of doing a Christmas wreath, which is kind of where the vines came in, but I couldn't do it the way I wanted to do it. So that's how I wound up with the tree and the vines instead. And I think it wound up working out almost even better than I thought it would originally when I looked at it. So that was the idea I had when I originally saw the sketch. And we're going to layer these two. Here we go. All right, just on top of each other, kind of like what I did with the other ones on the other side. You can see it just makes that red firecracker red just pop all that much more, and you can still see the shimmer white on top of the plain white, I guess, if you will. I called it plain white. It's just white, I guess. Not just, it's white. What is this? 3.5 inches. The other side was 4. This one's 3.5. All right. I mentioned it's been a week. It has been a little bit of a week. All right, let's get this stuck down here. And then I am going to bring in the other side, but I want to, I'm getting a little bit of a, let me flip this and see if that's any better. Oh, the other thing I did want to mention with this paper, be careful because it's directional. It will depend on which way you cut it as to how it looks on your page. I kind of wanted my flourishes going sideways through my page, so that's the way I cut it. If you cut it this way, you can see where they kind of are going more up and down. So pay attention when you do cut that paper. And let me place, well, I'm going to wait to place this because I want to put it with the other side. Let me get some tape on here. Get the other side next to it, and I'll put tape on the others. Here we go. All right. We are moving right along with this one. I know it's kind of a lot, but it's worth it. I think it comes together beautifully. And y'all will see it at the end because you don't really see it before we get all the elements onto the page, I think. Move this, move this, move that. All right, here we go. You starting to see it a little bit, maybe? Okay. Here's that. This is going to come on the bottom here because this continues our border sticker going across here. Okay. And then, as you can see, I did mix up the plaids. I did cut, because by the time I cut the 6 1/4 by 10, we would have had to use 2 sheets of whatever the larger and whatever the smaller one would have been. So this was a nice compromise in adding the other plaid in the other space. Hang on, I gotta get this lined up better. There we go. Get this lined up. Sometimes I get talking and then I don't pay attention to what I'm actually needing to do here. So this one is the red plaid, and this is going to come over here. So it's about 1/4 inch down, but in. And I know we have a little bit of white showing up here, and that's okay. That's just the natural variance that Creative Memories allows in some of the papers. You won't notice it once your photos are on the page and your page protector is over it. All right, so let's get the rest of our border sticker on. I probably do need the other half of the page for this too, don't I? Just in case. Just in case here, because this is the other half of that berry. There you go. Oops. Here we go. Whew. Not quite working up a sweat yet, but this one is going over here. It's going to overlap with the poinsettia a little bit, but most of it honestly is on this corner of the plaid. And again, this is just one of those where you can use whatever size photos you want to use on these mats. We thought about getting some gold shimmer mats going on to the plaid, the lower plaid, or even doing a double mat with the gold shimmer up here. And then I opted not to because I do really like to have that flexibility of how to put the photos on the pages. And I will talk to you a little bit more about where I do see photos going on to these pages. Let me, don't lose the circle. I just thought that added a little, I was kind of glad that we had this. Otherwise, we do have that mini punch trio that I think that has a circle in it as well. But this one was just too perfect, and it was handy to have to be able to put these on to the middle of our holly pieces. All right, let's flip these over. I guess I really don't need to flip over the gold, but I'm going to do it anyways. I think it's just one of those things. With our papers being double-sided, you get used to flipping everything. And then sometimes you don't when you got the cardstock. I got a little bit of tape runner on my table there. Okay. Shadow effect this one, and this one is going up into this corner here underneath the mat again as well. There we go. And oops. Come on, work with me here. There we go. I want to make sure it stays on the page so we can get the page protector on it easier. And here we go. It's the nice thing about this punch is the leaves are all slightly different sizes, so you have an easier way of lining them up for sure. And here we go. Let me get my present put under my tree. I'm gonna actually probably need to get my lifter, well, no, my multi-purpose tool, because I do kind of want it a little bit under the tree. I forgot I was going to do that when I put that down earlier. So that way it's just kind of peeping out from behind our tree here. Put your sticker down. The present was from our sticker set, and that, as we say, is that. Sketch number 1 is done. And here we go. There's the right side of our page. Isn't that cute with the present behind the tree there? All right, let's bring in both pages, and then I'll bring in the sketch again in a moment as well. But first things first, let me talk to you about where you're going to put your photos on the page. And one of the easier things about this page is that it's easy to tell where we're going to put the journaling, because our journaling can easily go in the white spaces on either side here, or even in the bottom, depending on what kind of journaling you have. So we have a photo here, a photo here. Now, you can also put a photo here if you opt not to journal. And then, of course, you can put in 2 photos vertically here, but you can also do like kind of an offset horizontal as well. So you have one up here and one down over here as well. Options for that. And again, over here, I would offset it as well, because we have, the plaids up here. So you almost would want one, if you're doing horizontal, up and maybe lower. And then you can actually fit probably 3 vertically if you have that, depending on how you trim your photos. So there's definite options on this one. And that's also where, because there was, 3 photos here, and I thought, well, you could easily get 3 on this side, and 2, maybe 3 on this side, depending on how you choose to add your photos. We've got where the circles were. We have our Christmas foliage and swirls. So we're kind of making our own swirls. I did put a holly up here, and then of course just the border on the one side seemed to fit when I decided to put it into the 2-page layout here. And then they did have a sheet so it's like here they have something 7.5 by 12, and then this was 10 by 5.5, and I did go larger with that. And then I just basically split this piece between the 2 pages, and it kind of worked. It just worked out. So let me know what y'all think. Let me know if you have any questions about this layout. Hopefully you like it. You can definitely leave me a thumbs up. I would love that. I love the comments too, so please let me know. All right, let's get into sketch number 2, and we'll move right along here with our Autumn Cottage collection next. Here we go. This one, we're going to use some vellum. And I had some vellum, I think it was left over from one of the other virtual crops, because honestly, with this collection, with the timing of when it came out, I haven't really had a chance to do my sketch with me. I know which sketch I want to do for it, but I haven't had a chance to do it yet. So it probably was from one of the other virtual crops. You can definitely find that on my channel if you want more inspiration with this collection. And then, I don't know, also, like I said, I'm kind of getting a little bit of sketch fatigue. I'm getting a little bit of banner fatigue too, apparently. So I opted to pull out my 12-inch decorative trimmer for this one. And I'll show you what I did here coming up. Let's see here. Okay, we have some mats. We have a sheet of the cranberry cardstock here. I'm actually going to try to leave this right around here, because I think that's where it looked best. I'm going to pull out my vellum tape runner. So this piece here, it has an orange tone to it. I'm guessing I did use it during the other virtual crop, is vellum. And then I pulled out the red vellum as well for this. And that's going to be our other swirl on the page, if you will. Okay, this is going right here, right around there. Okay. I did not actually measure this, did I? Place vellum. So this is 3 inches by 12 inches, this piece of vellum. That's what like I said, I found it as a scrap. Let's see, I left myself a couple of notes, so I probably should read this. Okay, there we go. Yep. All right, let me grab my bone folder real quick and just that's one of the fun things about designing it one day and then trying to remember and talk about it and teach it the next day or on a different day. And it winds up just making life interesting here. So basically that the using the bone folder where the vellum tape was, it does help it to disappear a little bit more behind the vellum itself. Now, so cranberry cardstock. This was the one with the orange tone on the vellum. The other one here has the red tone. You can see I pulled a few stickers as well, but I also pulled some mats. So I found the two. These are 4x6 mats, and I just thought, you know, it just worked. You know, they just looked so pretty here that I wanted to go ahead and use those. And then also we have this other one. Okay. This one here, and I'm putting it this way because I liked the look of the design at the top because I know I'm going to be covering it with a photo, and there's enough white space here to frame out my photo a little bit. And if you want, if your photo, you want that extra little frame at the bottom, grab a scrap of white cardstock and take out the lines. Or maybe a write-on sticker might work for something like that as well. And then this one was a scrap, I'm guessing also from one of the virtual crops. And the color worked. And so I thought, let's just go ahead and use that one as well. Let me get this other piece of vellum down and then we'll start sticking this other parts down as well. Let's see here. Okay. This one is a 5.5 inch by 12 inch piece of the red vellum. I did put it on the 12-inch decorative trimmer. So when you're cutting it, you do your first one first. I lined it up at the bottom because with the decorative trimmer, you're either lining up your paper at the bottom or you're lining it up at the top. And I lined it up at the bottom towards me. I took off an edge. I flipped the paper and then I went ahead and cut again so I would have a similar, more hourglass-ish design. So this is going over here on this right side, just a little bit in, about 1/4 of an inch over at the top and the bottom here. Okay. Bone folder again. If I can find the tape this time. It's interesting. The red definitely disappears more with the red behind it. How fun is that? Well, now you know. So maybe with your with the orange, or because the vellum in this collection is very tonal. So if you do it with the same tones, it looks like your tape is going to disappear quickly. Let me put these on and this on and this on, and then we're going to piece this back together, and it's going to go together reasonably quickly here, I think, compared to the other one that had so many moving parts. This one, 12-inch decorative trimmer, some stickers, some mats, we got it. Oh, this one I cut in half. This was one of our 4x6 mats as well, and I cut it in half through here because I thought, you know, we're repeating the design, but we're also, it just is what fit. And I'm always looking for options to get them to fit an extra photo on a page or to give me options with my journaling on pages. So that's kind of where I wound up with that. This one was half of a 4.5 by 6.5. So That one also something else to keep in mind. And now you can see the reason why I did a 5.5 inch piece of vellum is because we have a 4x6 mat and it just centered better on the piece. I wanted it to actually show that we took the time to create that hourglass, and so that way it can show off our mat a little bit better. Our photo, once we get our photo on there, it'll have a photo. Let's see. Okay, I've got to put the tree down first because this is actually going to go under my other mat a little bit, and I want it about 3/4 of an inch up. So let me grab my zero centering ruler because I wrote myself notes on it for a reason. So that's, I'm going to follow what I have on here, and we'll see. Maybe, hey, maybe I knew what I was talking about when I put this on here. There we go. And then, yeah, this is going to go partially under here. And that frames that out really nicely, doesn't it? Okay. There we have it. How did I wind up so crooked? I'm sorry. Hope y'all have been able to follow along. You know, sometimes I get so busy putting it all back together. It gets exciting at this, kind of like doing a speed puzzle here a little bit and talking about it. So in our sticker pack, we have this one. This is Falling For You with a heart in the middle of it. We're going to put a foam square on that one. And that is going down here in this space, in this little crook of our hourglass. That's fine. We'll call it that. And then we have our leaves coming down. So I just picked out 3 different leaf shapes and colors to come down through our page. That also helps to draw the eye through the design here. And voila, there we go. Got the puzzle put back together. What do y'all think about this one? It seems like it's quick and easy. This one did take me a little bit more to design, and then I also did add in this extra because it did look funny kind of without this behind it, and that's the sketch. So I just thought, here, this is kind of, they were talking about the journaling box down here, and so I did do the journal box down here. And then originally 3 photos. We have an option for a 4th photo, at least. So you can photo, and photo here. And like I said, you can just work with the lines, cover it up with a little bit of white cardstock if you want. It really depends on the size of your photo, since it is a 4x6 mat. So if you just trim those little edges off of your photo, you can even have your photo run into the vellum, and that'll cover up your lines and take care of that little minor detail. And then I love that this one's kind of going to be a 3/4 framed photo probably. So that's it. That's it for that one. Let me know if y'all have any questions. I'm so happy you're here watching with me and seeing my interpretations of these sketches. I hope y'all are enjoying it, and I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me today. It's been a while. Feels like it's been a while. Okay, let me put my cheat sheet up so I know how I'm getting the puzzle back together here again. This one doesn't have as much because I used a little bit more of what was available in the pack. And you're going to see this one is Wonderful Day. This one was our most anticipated one. I think we had the most votes for wanting to see the Wonderful Day collection used. And so I used it on one of our 2-page layouts here. Now, this one is interesting because this collection is kind of, I don't want to say monochromatic, but there's a lot of grays, there's a lot of beiges, and there's a lot of tans. And so it was an interesting, this one actually took me a while too. Honestly, it looks put together now, but it challenged me a bit. So this we're doing something similar to what we did on our first one. We're going to layer those. Um, this one is one of our laser cut borders. I cut in half exactly at 6 inches on that one, right through the middle of our, there's that little circle there. And then I combined both mats and paper, but I really just used one sheet of outside of the base pages. So these are from our tonal pack. And if you'll remember when I introduced the tonal pack, I said there's some that have the lines and there's some that don't. They have more of this kind of like just plywoody kind of look to it. So we're using this one is more in the medium gray tone as the base on both sides of this page. And then from the designer pack, I pulled out this one that has the really narrow kind of coppery stripes on the back of it, but it looks almost like cement to me on this side. And I don't remember what the name was. I apologize, but you introduce so many collections, you can lose track. And this one is one of our 4.5 by 6.5 mats. It does have the lighter brown wood tone on the back of it. So I went ahead and I cut the 4.25 by 6.25 mats from our one sheet of designer paper that we're using to decorate our pages with. And then when you do that, you cut 1.5 inches off. So you have this 1.5 inches by 10.5 inches, which is the scrap from cutting these. And then you also have 1.5 inches by 12. And then I cut that in half at 3/4 inch because it just really helped to highlight our border sticker that we're going to use across the bottom of the page. So it's kind of more of a repeating tones. And you kind of saw it when the page was together a bit, how it looks striking when it's all put together. But it is more of a color play within similar gray tones here. And then I honestly think that when you go to put your photos on, your photos are just going to pop off this page because they're going to be what's going to be adding color to our page here. What else needs tape? Our mat needs tape and our border needs tape. And this one needs the repositionable tape. I'm just going to go over here real quick with that on my silicone mat here. Okay. So this one is going across the bottom. Do I have a yes? Okay, this one I very specifically, because I knew I had a note for myself on one of these. That was really unusual for me. I wanted this exactly 3/8 of an inch from the bottom of the page. Let me flip over my ruler so I can actually see where I'm at here. So 3/8, I'm just going to line this up at 3/8. So I know exactly where I need to be. And that's going to go right at my 1 because it winds up running right along one of these lines that run through our page. There we go. And that's essentially the only mark that I have for myself or note as far as that goes. And then the laser cuts goes at the top. And this one, these are going to just come in from there. Okay. So that is at the top. We want it to be straight. And there you go. There's one of these. I'm just going to lightly place it to make sure I have enough space for my larger mat to come in from the side here with this other strip behind it to highlight it. And that's about I'm giving it about 1/2 inch both at the top and on the side here. Let's see, I need to check and see if that looks reasonably straight. It kind of does, okay. So there's that. I'm going to go ahead and push that down, pick this up, This is going to layer over this, coming in between here. It almost kind of looks like a flag, doesn't it? But that's all right. These need to go over to the right just a hair bit more. If I can pick it up again, here we go. And there's that one. This just needs to scoot over. It's probably about 1/8 of an inch that I'm moving it over, but it's enough to make a difference with the spacing for our mat as well, to just, again, sometimes it's the eye, the visual with our eyes here. And okay. Well, now I just messed that up a little bit. There we go. Maybe I didn't have to move the mats. I could have just moved the other one, but this leaves me with that 1/4 inch over here too, and then the half here. Okay. And so let's pull off the backing from that. Bring this down on here. And now you can see why that was exactly worked out nicely at 3/4, because it fits our border sticker like perfectly. It's almost like they knew that somebody was going to take a 3/4 of an inch strip behind that one. And then this is going to layer kind of in this corner here over both of them. I'm not even going to put a foam square. You have to remember this is a 4.5 by 6.5 mat. Our photos are usually 4 by 6, so it will not interfere with our photo when we go to place that down. So the left side of our page is done. All right. And I will go ahead and pull in the right side. And then we're going to do essentially the same. I wound up finding this Memories of the Best Souvenirs in our embellishment pack. This one is another one of our embellishment packs that have large embellishments. And so I don't know, I think I'm more of a fan sometimes of the smaller embellishments. I'm just going to go ahead and put this on real quick and just get this one done. And so let's line this up, because I know I put that right at the top of, you know what, I can't put it on yet because I need to put the mat down first, because I missed, this almost disappears into the paper. It's essentially the same shade. And so I even missed that I had that behind. So I need to go ahead and put this behind first. Like I said, it's kind of like doing a puzzle. Let's see, I need to place this first. This is my other 4 1/4, and I will talk y'all through it, because sometimes I need to talk myself through it here. All right, we have 4 by 6 mats on this side. That's this one. Memories are the best souvenirs. My tape runner just ran out. Let me get that taken care of. Also, real quick here we go. And pop that back together. Put this back on here. There we go. Okay, so 4 by 6 mats. I have the 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 designer paper. The other two that match what I did on the other side. And I always say, if y'all don't know how to cut that from one sheet of cardstock, to please let me know, and I will be happy to do another demo. I know I did that in some of my earlier videos as well. And okay, this needs to get placed first, because 4 by 6. So this one is the one that looks like a note card, a lined note card. Essentially, we are going to place this up here in this right-hand corner, exactly at the edge. So this one, also 4 by 6. If I can pick it up, there we go. Uh-oh, crinkled the corner a little. Okay, and so I have a note. I'm going to line this up where the lines start on the card, because that's what made sense when I was designing it. There we go. Because essentially it runs through the space here. And I'm going to hold that up for y'all so you can see that, because we're going to need to put tape runner on that one still. Here. So you can see how this is where the lines start, and that's where I place the mat. But you can see where this mat just almost disappears into the color of the paper. which is awesome. Now you all, if you have the matte pack and you have the paper, you know which paper I used because it matches this mat. Now I can put this on, and I feel like I want to bring in the left side just a little bit. I know I lined it up really closely and tightly to the top of the page, but I still want to make sure I am straight across both pages. Boy, I feel like I need a third hand right now for this one. I don't know why. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yep. All right. So there's that. And then we're going to get this bottom piece put on so I can piece together these other ones. And I think some of this was inspired by the sketch as well. So, all right, I'm going to go in my exact 3/8 of an inch again. So let me pull in my 0 centering ruler because I know I was at 3/8 on the other side. And like I said, it lines up pretty well with this bottom line. It just is the direction that I chose to have the paper. But that must be why I went ahead and measured and wrote it down just to make sure. Because I think if I matched the line at the bottom of the paper, I would have, and I flipped the paper, I wouldn't know any better. Let's get our border sticker on. And that's just going to go straight across here again. So pretty. I don't know, I like all the little flourishes in this collection. This one overlaps our memories and best souvenirs. In fact, I think nose has to be offset a little bit because we're going to place this mat here. And it kind of lines up exactly with our little 3/4 inch strip that we have. And it looks like in my drawing, I put it right up against the edge of the paper. So let's do that also. So we're going to line this up at the edge of the paper in both areas. So right along this, our 3/4 inch strip, and then also along the edge of the paper. And then we have this one is coming in and it goes up and over a bit. Like so. Hang on, I have it up higher even on my, let's see. Do I like it better up further or not as much? I'm gonna do this. And there you go. Sometimes you wind up doing it and you change your mind halfway through, and that one it looks crooked, and it is. So this one is overlapping the mat up here just a little bit too, the one with the saying on it. That still looks crooked. Okay. How about that? Let's just. Okay. All right. So there we go. That, as we say, is that. Here's the other half of our layout coming in, and I will talk about it with the sketch. And then I'm going to, looks like I have a comment to address as well. I don't know if there's any questions, but we'll still bring in the comment as well. So there is that 2-page layout. What do y'all think of this one? Definitely a color play with the gray tones. I will hold this up closer for you again so you can see the overlap on this mat. But on here, they definitely had some extra like papers and things behind them. I chose not to do that. I just liked the look of the lines of this wood look paper behind it. And I think we have enough of a color play going on as it is. I did keep the journal box up here, and then I just used essentially the mat, and I only added just the one little sticker over there for decoration. This one I kept simpler, but like I said, I still think it's going to be striking once you get your photos on here, here, and here. I mean, you know, I'm never opposed to putting another vertical photo on. And then again, here and here, you can actually even fit maybe 2 in this space. I don't know. Once you get your photos, you'll have to see if it makes sense to just have the one or to do a second one as well. But this is the close-up. Again, this is overlapping the mat. The bottom line of the mat is there. So you can kind of see where it's running separate from the paper. So there, hopefully that helps you all to see how much I overlapped. This one definitely is more than this one, but there you go. Let me know if y'all have any questions on this one. And let's see what we have. Okay. All right. Thank you, Christina. I'm glad you caught me live as well. Thanks for watching, and I hope you're enjoying seeing my interpretations of these sketches. How fun. I try not to interrupt when I'm actually doing the sketches because I find when people watch the replays, it just helps with the flow on the replay as well. I know there's a lot of YouTubers that will stop what they're doing as soon as they see they have the comment, and I just like to finish my thought, finish the design, and have the questions and comments in between, because then that way, if somebody is watching later on the replay, they can fast forward that part and they don't have to listen to me having a conversation with people. I guess it's something I've changed as I've, I guess, matured in live streaming. I don't know. So, all right. Our final sketch is sketch number 4. This one we're going to be using vintage chic or chic. I don't know. Well, it's, it's one of our newer collections as well. I did get a couple of votes. And, I saw the hexagons and I kind of wasn't too sure about this one. And I thought, there's got to be something a little different I can do with this collection to inspire you all. Also, I just didn't think that the hexagons would have necessarily gone with this collection either. So what I did was I pulled out my elegant diamond, and I thought, this is going to add a really interesting look as well, and kind of give the same inspiration maybe as the hexagons do in the sketch. So here's what we're going to do. Let's see. I punched it from, where did I punch this from? Beige. We're doing beige. I almost pulled in dark sea green. Actually, you know what? This one, I think I've got to do both sides at the same time. I hate to say it, but I'm going to try it. I don't know if I have enough desk space for it and to show what I'm taping on camera, but I'm going to see what I can do here. What shows on camera. So I actually punched 3 of the elegant diamond borders. You can see them here. Like this one, I can't wait to do a short of. I love this one. But I almost brought in the dark sea green, and then when I went to do it, it didn't look right. So we also have these embellishments, another larger embellishment. And I thought, this kind of works in the corners, and it's going to work with our diamond as well. But I made a boo-boo when I punched this one. Go figure. Well, once I did it, I started cutting them apart, and I was like, oh my gosh, that makes a really cool design element to add on the page as well. You can see I've kind of placed them here, and it fits with the designer paper that I picked to cut mats from. These are 4x6 mats that I cut from the designer paper. It's the one that has the, other design on the back. Sorry. I know that's not really specific, but we have the Our Story mat. It's a 4x6 mat with the lighter blue on the back. And then we also have another 4x6 mat here. That's from the mat pack as well, that mimics the color and design as well. And then I have pulled 2 of our 4.5 by 6.5 mats, and these are just in those brown tones that work well. And there's a design, the dotted circle on the back of each of these, but I liked the plain because we have the design coming from the designer paper, the elements, and the elegant diamond. Okay. So in my mind, I saw how I wanted to do this. And now that I'm in the reality of actually needing to live stream and show you all how to do it, we're going to try it, because we're going to start actually opposite of what I usually start. We're going to start in this bottom right corner. I am going to put repositionable tape on one of my borders, and then I'm also going to grab out my microchip scissors, which are currently sold out, but they will be back in December. If you don't have a pair of microchip scissors and you would like one, you can head to my Creative Memories website and you can click on the button that says email me when it comes back in stock. So that's what I recommend. We are going to start here. So I'm lining this up so where it follows the pattern of the punch, but that the punch is following the edge of the paper. So let me try to hold this up so you can see through here exactly. You can see those lines that make up the diamond work really nicely with the lines of our paper. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip and cut. And there we go. And the reason I'm using the microchip scissors is because they have that special coating that doesn't get gooped up when you're cutting through tape. Because remember, I did put the repositionable tape on first. And I don't think we're going to need that little end. Whoops. Oh, now, of course, I'm getting stuck back on the other edge of the paper. But we're going to run this again now from up here. And let's see here. So it looks like we're just going to wind up with 2 swipes of this. 2 swipes of stripes. And then again, I'm going to line it up again so that way the line of the design is following the line of the paper. And of course, I just got offset just a little bit here. So I'm going to try to pull it up and pull it over just a hair so it lines up a little bit better with the corner. There we go. Okay, flipping it back over, and I'm going to cut again. So this is why I punched 3 of these, because I wasn't sure if we were going to wind up with 2 swoops or 3 swoops through the corner. I didn't know if we would wind up with like one of these, maybe down here, but I'm actually kind of happy that we wound up with 2. So this, I don't know, we might have to do a card later or something. Not on this live stream, but on another one. This is going to go down here so you can see where we're bringing in our colors. We're bringing in a lot of our pattern. Looks pretty. It almost looks lacy on here. And then these are the 3 I moved. So let's go ahead and stick these down. That's correct. That's correct. Okay. Woo. Sometimes when you get the new tape runner, it runs a little bit faster, I guess, than when you get towards the end, it gets a little bit tighter. Okay, so my journal box is up on this right side here. We're going to give it about a 1/2 inch of a edging on here. This one is going up here, but I have those other 2 decor pieces that I want to put up there. So let's give this one about a 1/2 inch as well down here. There's that. That's scooting over. This is moving out of the way. And then we are going to place these, which I need to put the tape runner on. Also, these are going on the top of our page. Like I said, as decor pieces, because this collection had embellishments, but it didn't have stickers. So this gives us an interesting extra design element without having the stickers, but these are smaller. A lot of the embellishments, like I said, were larger. And so it just kind of made it a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit harder for me anyways. Oops. That one wound up off. There we go. Come on. Okay, let me see if I'm even straight here. Nope, I'm off, out of whack. Okay, let's fix this. This one's down. It's a good thing I didn't push down on it too much. All right, how does that look? That looks better. Okay, so our right side of our page is basically done. Oops, I got to put this down too. Now, do I want to? Oh, we'll go ahead and just place up and down. I thought about foam taping it, but I don't think we're going to this time. And so this is just going to overlap here. How's about that? Okay. So there's that side of our page. And then I'm going to go ahead. I'm actually going to move that one out. So I thought I was going to do both of them at the same time when I had this stuff. But now that I realize I don't need to, I will move this other 12-inch border out of the way. And that's going to go up here. We've got this one going this way. This one's going to go this other way. With these three, let's just go ahead and do that. That way I don't have to worry about things flopping all over and, you know. Oop. There we go. I'm going to pay attention to the new tape runner a little bit more here. Okay. So again, about a ½ inch from the corners here. There we go. And this one is up in the top here. So this becomes our title, but you also could put a photo here depending on how many photos you have for these pages when you go to put your photos on. Nope, that one's crooked. Okay. I was wondering. All right, how's that? Better. Okay, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and get them going up in this corner. And I'm actually going to turn it just to make life easier for myself here a little bit. Sometimes when it's up in that far corner, it's harder for me to see. And I'm all about making things a little bit easier for myself here. So this is going to come in this way. Let's get those angles lined up again. How many we had? This is right around here. Ah, there we go. Okay. Took me a minute to find that angle again. There we go. Got it. Now I just need to get it unstuck from my table is all. Go ahead and flip it and cut. And we're not going to keep that one. We will keep what's the rest of this here. And now row number 2, starting at the top here. There we go. And oh wow, that just did wind up being just enough, didn't it? All right, there we go. Oops, I have a little funny extra piece. I'm just gonna take my scissors and trim that off. Just looked funny. Just a tiny little scrap of paper. And like I say, you can always use your scissors, and that's one of the best things about scrapbooking is scissors can fix just about anything with paper crafting. All right, let's get these other 2 down for our other design elements on our page here. This one is going to go down here. And this one I actually turned the opposite direction. So it's running through our page, and then we'll add this one as well to our corner here. And there we go. Nice. All right, then. Guess what? The sketch is done as well, our 4th sketch. Here we are. Let me get that on camera better for you all. What do you think? Pretty nice. I think, like I said, I think the hexagons would have been a little funky, but with the adding this extra element, it just adds that extra little elegance, I think, that this collection, I don't want to say calls for, but it does kind of bring it out. So there's that up close again. In the other corner here, you can see, and we have our little extra pieces there as well. Okay, let me pull back in the sketch. So they had 2 and a title. So I did actually do 2 and a title there, and then I did do the 2 here and the journal box over here. They also had an extra layer of paper behind this one as well, and I chose not to do that either. Of course, you can if you want. You could easily see, I don't know, that was something else. You would have to probably bring in like your lighter blue that you have in these mats, or maybe even the pumpkin, the orange, but I don't know how that would be with the orange and the pink. So I liked it just as it was. Photo here, photo here. You can journal here, or you can add a photo. Um, Photos. You can journal even on the side of this, or you can put a photo here and add some write-on stickers, kind of just coming off of the corners as well. Um, you have options. We usually do have options, don't we? All right. Well, that was the last sketch for the October 2024 virtual crop. Does anybody have any other questions or comments? I'm so excited that we had a new person come and join us, and hopefully she watched at least one sketch. I don't know if you're still here or not. Um, Let me get it switched back over again, and I will go ahead and finish things up here. Here we are. I'm here, still talking. Um, let's see. I did get filmed that one video earlier this week. I hopefully will be able to get that one edited. I don't know if I'm going to have another Thursday video this week or not. I am hoping to film a bunch of shorts tomorrow. So coming up, y'all should start to see some of those shorts come out again, showing off all of the new tools that have come out in the last month or so while I've been having to travel to different places, helping out my mom, helping out my daughter a little bit with some things. So, if nothing else, y'all know to look out on my community tab. That's pretty much where I put the latest updates of what's going on with me around here. And kind of when I'm going live, you all know I will be going live again next month, though, for next month's virtual crop. So, if you're new, please hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you join me next month.